Murphy.
And I'm Katie Gothier. A Columbus woman was stabbed after being stabbed in her home this afternoon.
Police arrested her grandson after the boy's mother told police he was the one who did it. 19-year-old Chase McLevitz was arrested last night about an hour after his grandmother, 58-year-old Deanna McLevitz, called 911. She died while being transported to Bryan Medical Health Center in Lincoln. Columbus police say after allegedly stabbing his grandmother, he had a brief standoff with police when they found him.
Appreciate the help of the law enforcement agencies and the help of the community. We had several persons call in, suspicious individuals, somebody running, somebody hiding, so information to the community was beneficial in the apprehension.
We spoke with Chase's mother, Jennifer Bach, today, who is also Deanna's daughter. She said her son suffered from drug and alcohol issues. She also said Chase was raised by his grandmother, and the two had just come home from looking to a drug rehab facility before the stabbing.
Lexington police are still searching for a man they say fired a handgun at a woman and officers early yesterday morning. Police are looking for 25-year-old Jose Gabriel Corva-Rubius in connection to the shooting. Corva-Rubius is described as 6'1", 180 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. Police arrived on the scene in the 500 block of Oregon Trail around 1 a.m. Wednesday. When they arrived on scene, Corva-Rubius fired a handgun as a woman was fleeing the house. Corva-Rubius also fired at patrol units, hitting one of the vehicles and a nearby residence. A police officer then returned fire at Corva-Rubius. A young child was treated and released for a minor injury from an apparent ricochet. If you have any information on his location, notify law enforcement immediately. Turning our attention to weather, we're finishing July on a pretty dry note.
Yeah, but tonight parts of our area dealt with some showers and storms. Meteorologist Tim Jones joining us from the Storm Tracker 5 Weather Center. Tim, any more chances out there maybe overnight for people?
No, everything's pretty much dissipated as we expect, Colin, and everything we had earlier, unfortunately, was hit or miss. Here's how things look right now on Doppler 5 Live radar. Just a couple showers between Lincoln and Omaha, not really amounting to anything. And as we go back in time over the last 6 hours, there's those couple storms, severe storms that were severe warned up around Antelope and Boone counties pushing down, and then a second storm in Polk and also York counties. And some large hail and some damaging winds. Other than that, didn't amount to much here in our area, though I did see a report of half-dollar size hail just to the northeast of York. Right now, as I said, though, things are quiet. Looking at our temperatures across the state, mostly in the 60s and 70s. Kind of a warm night out there, and we're starting a warming trend. Overnight, though, will be a little cooler, and it'll really be our last cool night, as we'll see those 50s give way to 60s in the morning, and the 60s will give way to the mid to upper 70s around the state. And then we'll top off mostly in the mid to upper 80s. And then, as I said, a slight warming trend, and we'll break all that down coming up in Maine weather. Katie?
Thank you, Tim. The town of Pilger, Nebraska is coming back from devastating killer tornadoes, and now the first house to be replaced has gone up. A crane lowered parts of a modular home onto its foundation as workers looked on. This is where Kim and Ted Neiman will live. Kim is the village clerk. She helped to secure rescue funds for neighbors and volunteers after the storms ripped the town apart. Now she and her husband are moving forward with their lives, and they show the toughness of the town that refuses to quit.
We'll be bigger and better. We're too tough to die. I mean, we're not going to die. We're going to keep going. We're going to, we'll see more houses.
The town was struck by 2 EF4 tornadoes on June 16th. 2 people were killed, 16 injured, and half the town was leveled in those storms.
Residents of Minden had the chance tonight to get a peek at new plans for the city's water system. The meeting held at the Minden Opera House was the second of 3 meetings about the water system. After the first meeting, it was decided that the current 4-inch water main needs replaced. Upping the water pressure to help firefighters is the #1 priority in the upgrade plans. Another reason for the possible changes, the water's color. While it's safe to drink, the older pipes have affected the color of the drinking water.
The first step should make the most difference, getting rid of all the 4-inch. Like they said, that'll kill 2 birds. That'll clear up the worst of the water quality and help with the fire protection.
Well, it's been a long time coming, but they're trying to do a good job. They're working on it. That's what I'm care about.
In order to pay for it, City Council may put a sales tax increase on the November ballot.
It's not so easy to fly the friendly skies out of North Platte right now, or any smaller airport in Nebraska for that matter. New federal regulations are hurting passenger numbers and indirectly federal funding. The new regulations require co-pilots to have at least 1,500 hours of flight time. That could end up being a crippling blow to small airports because of a nationwide pilot shortage. In an effort to offset the impact that this would have to rural airports like North Platte, Congressman Adrian Smith introduced the Smaller Airport Regulation Relief Act of 2014. It would look at airport traffic numbers from the calendar year of 2012 when used to appropriate funds through the airport.
I think it's a fair thing to do, through no fault of the airport and the community in our airport. We've been put in a situation where there's no way that we can generate 10,000 employment, so I think it's quite fair.
Congressman Adrian Smith making a big push for those smaller airports. In other news, with 6 months left to live, one Innervale man had one wish. He wanted to be reunited with his estranged son. When Daniel McMillan found out he had cancer, it was too late for treatment. The disease had already spread throughout his body. On hospice care and running out of time, all he could think about was reuniting with his estranged son. After 28 years apart, the two are now reunited. It's all thanks to social media and one social worker who never gave up hope. Daniel says his son was the one missing from this piece of the puzzle.
He's my hero. He's my hero. I didn't think he'd come around. He did. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Daniel says he wants to do as much as he can with his son before his time runs out. The two plan to go camping and fishing in the Wyoming mountains. Still ahead tonight, the latest on the Ebola outbreak and what's being done about it.
But next, power from the sun. How some of our neighbors to the east are getting their electricity and what makes it unique, excuse me.
As we go to break, look at how your money did today on Wall Street. Not a good day for the Dow, down 317 points. The Nasdaq closed down 93 points, and the S&P was down 39 points.
Coming off a bold victory often gives teams a fresh outlook on the next season, and that should be true of the Huskers. Well, Nebraska returns 45 letter winners to this year's squad, which begins its season August 30th against Florida Atlantic. The Big Red also had 14 starters, or has 14 starters, back from last year's 9-4 Gator Bowl winning squad. All that translates to a 22 preseason ranking by the Amway Coaches Poll of the 62 FBS coaches. Nebraska is joined in the top 25 by fellow Big Ten members Ohio State 6th, Michigan State 8th, and Wisconsin 14th. It will be a while before we know if any of those teams can live up or surpass those preseason rankings and expectations. Well, how about the top of the poll? Well, there's absolutely no surprise there. The defending national champion Florida State Seminoles get the nod to pick up right where they left off with that spear in the middle of the field. With Heisman winner famous Jameis Winston returning for his sophomore year, they're #1 in the nation until beaten. Alabama follows close behind at #2. Bobby Stoops' Oklahoma Sooners are rated 3rd, Oregon 4th, and Auburn 5th. As I said, we'll see about all of this in days and weeks to come. Husker fans, are you ready? You have your chance tomorrow to get close to the players, wish them luck, and get their autographs. It will be the annual Fan Day where Coach Bo Pelini, his staff, and ball players will sign autographs at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, meet the people there, and get everybody fired up for the upcoming season. Remember to move the line along, only one autograph per player or per coach and per person, and make the most of your opportunity to have fun. After the Fan Day, the coaches and players get down to work and meetings with that first practice on the field. Monday, August 4th, right around the corner. Those players will have one final weekend before getting down to the hard work with road contests at Michigan State, Wisconsin, Northwestern, and Iowa, and other tough games. The schedule will be daunting for Nebraska. When we think of a car wash, we think of our own cars being cleaned and driving away. Well, another kind of car wash is what they call all of the ESPN interviews. Husker coach Bo Pelini was on the Bristol campus today, along with other Big Ten coaches, and talked on several shows, including the Dan Le Batard Show. Of course, the talk was about the team, how they expect to play, and what Bo expects. Now, Dan Le Batard then asked Bo about the Iowa game, which the Huskers lost, and Bo got his hat too close to the referee.
The hat never came out of my hand. It just came, it got a little too close. See what happened, honest to God, what happened when that whole thing happened is the buckle on the back of my hat broke. So it actually went a little bit further. I got a little bit closer than I really wanted to, because I could have got myself into a lot of trouble right there.
Well, all fun up at ESPN today. As we know, Nebraska lost that game to Iowa, but of course the Hawkeye excellence, hopefully the story of that game, not an argument with the ref. We'll see how the Huskers respond after the bowl victory. Nebraska, along with Oregon, Alabama, are the only Division I-A teams that have won 9 or more games in each of the past 6 years. After their trip to Wrigley Field last night to see the Rockies and Cubs, the Kearney Little League state champions are now on their way and on the field in Indianapolis, or they will be tomorrow in the regional tournament. Nebraska meets South Dakota State at about 6:30 Central Time. They'll have games Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to try and make it to the semifinal round. If they're able to win the regional championship, it's on to the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, a spot where the program was 2 seasons ago. Of course, only one player is left from the regional team last year that went to Indianapolis, and Kearney's squad hopefully gets to be on TV and gets to keep playing ball. And so tonight we wrap up things with Colin Murphy as he leaves News 5 after 7 great years. And one final time, we'll get him to do one of the highlights of the ball games that occurred tonight. Colin, take it away.
Yeah, Twins, Royals. Let's go to the K for this one. I started here at sports. I'm going to end in sports.
That's right.
This is Tom Willis. Well, he was born without arms, kicks out the first pitch, and that's a strike in my eyes right there, right in the strike zone. Congratulations, Tom. In the 5th, Mike the Moose Moustakis, Mambo Italiano, he drills one to right center. It's off the wall. That's a double. Raul Ibanez scores, and the Royals got the Twins lead to 2-1. Later in the 6th, the scoring continuing for the Royals right here. Jared Dyson, a single through the hole. That'll score the Moose to tie the game at 2, and the Royals at home tonight 6-3 gets the victory there. So still trying to make that push to the top of the AL Central, and even they still get the wild card too, right, Ed?
Yeah, exactly. Only 4 games out of first behind the Tigers. Of course, the Tigers picked up David Price, the ace of the Tampa Bay Rays today, so it'll be tough to catch them.
And
for
John
the
Lester to the A's.
John Lester to the A's for
Cepetis.
Unanimous Cepetis, right?
Cepetis.
Is it Cepetis?
Cepetis?
Okay.
All right.
That's hard to say,
not an
but he's
easy
a heck of a ball player.
He can play. That's
Yeah.
all that matters. Katie, he was getting it. Yeah, it's not easy.
We'll wrap things up right after this and say goodbye to Colin.